I don't need to turn around to know who said that. Neither do I. I didn't need the name to pop up either. Clap, clap. Someone at the other end is... At the other end of the table is applauding. I don't know why tea and coffee make my tongue dry. It's kind of weird. The Eastern Princess Lynn. So she is paying attention. She's like me. Okay, quick little sidetrack story here. In high school I took a cooking class, and I was in the back of the classroom, and every day, this was cooking 1, basically. So like 101, basic stuff I already knew. So every day I would just sit back and close my eyes, basically take a nap. Seriously, I would take a nap in class, and you know, every now and then my teacher would wake me up and ask me a question, and you know, I'd be like, huh? I'd be dazed at first, like, huh? What's going on? And she would ask me the question again. I'm like, oh, answer, and I would just blurt out the answer, done. And I would go back, and she would just stand there, staring at me like, how did you know that? And I would just go, and I would hard be back asleep. So you know, after 2 or 3 times of doing that, she's like, well, he obviously knows what he's doing. Don't need to bother with that anymore. So yeah, back to the story, shall we? She stood up. She still has her head down, but she's clapping. Lynn, is she applying Finn? Finn covers her face with her hands. Tears run down through her fingers. Aww. Thank you.
飞鹰，
You did well,
你表
Finn.
现得不错呢。
I feel like she's a little sister. I want to pet her on the head. Sniffle. After Finn has wiped her face, Lynn stops her applause and resumes her seat. And Tella signals for the other maids to bring in the next course. You already had dessert. What's after dessert? Lynn continues to ignore the conversation around her. Seriously, what is after dessert?
那么
I'm curious now.
艾尔阁下已和在场诸位殿下认识了，接下来的繁文缛节就免了吧，请大家一起举杯。
Okay, so this is
欢
sort
迎我
of
们的剑术
it
导师
wasn't actually
艾
dessert.
尔
It's
比斯
more of
阁
like what
下。
happens around at my house around Easter. And basically what happens is we bring all the food out. You know, and you can eat in whatever order you want. You don't have to have brunch first. You can have dessert first. It doesn't matter. So I thought it was gonna be like sort of like a Hobbit version. You know, first breakfast, second breakfast, third breakfast, tea time, first lunch, second lunch, third lunch, second tea time, first dinner, second dinner, third tea time, first dessert, second dessert, third dessert, fourth tea time. Yeah, something like that. I was kind of hoping that actually, but nope. Now that everyone has been introduced, no, actually they haven't. Are those the only 3 I'm gonna be able to get to know? Because that's gonna be annoying. I mean, no offense, but 4 more people, not that big a deal. I mean, seriously, you only have 5 people in the game that, you know, that we've actually talked to, really. Not including the king. Now that everyone has been introduced, let us have a toast of welcome to our new fencing instructor. A maid brings in a tray laden with filled wine glasses. We each take one. No, really?
为我们以后的和睦相处而
To
干杯
Iroh
吧。
Rez, I hope we all have a lot of fun getting to know him. Cheers! Even Lyra, with a face slightly less hostile at the moment, stands for the toast. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, I was just stretching. She still hates me. I need to find some way to soothe her displeasure. And Lynn, even though she has a glass in her hand, she still looks like she isn't really participating. Maybe I should have stopped over-analyzing them. I hope that we all have a lot of fun. as I get to know you. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Knitting. Sorry about that as well. Don't know why that just happened. Update for a game on my iPhone. We raise the glasses over our heads. Cheers! I return to my room alone. The only sound are the songs of the cicadas from outside and crackling of my fireplace. I don't know why, because I mean, as a kid, I didn't really care about cicadas, quite frankly. You know, they didn't freak me out or anything. They were annoying, mind you, but now they just sort of freak me out. It's weird. I mean, it's not really that they freak me out so much as they startled me, I guess. I mean, you know how dumb they are. You know, they just randomly ram into stuff. It's really weird. You know, you'll be walking around and all of a sudden, boom, they hit you in the chest or something. It's weird. But whatever. The dinner party was a success. By the end of the night, I was able to make the acquaintances of each of the princesses. Nobody treated me as an outsider. Now I'm trembling in my bedroom. I had grown too accustomed to being viewed by others as a sinner, a failure, and an outcast. For what? Failing one battle? Jeez. I would have been used to that the day it happened, and just, you know, probably getting into lots of fights. Like, no dude, I only lost one gosh darn battle. I shouldn't have been exiled. The king just had to have someone to blame, so shut up and leave me alone. I mean, seriously, that's how I would feel. Probably not the best person to exile. Me, at least. Lying on the bed, exhausted and alone, I start to think out loud. Even for a princess, there is something special about her. She really stands out. I'm guessing he means Lynn. Oh. Diana Sitjabaris, a noble princess with the royal name. Her behavior tonight wasn't that of a noble who had received training and adequate from almost since birth. Well, that is true. Furthermore, she is of a royal house known for placing an especially high value on one's comportment and disposition. It was as though tonight she was a totally different person from the elegant and refined princess I met in the Roseland just this morning. There's something inexpressible about her personality, something that I find comforting. That sounds like me, quite frankly. I mean, I'm a different person when I'm in a group setting than I am when I'm just like sort of one-on-one, really. Like right now, if you ever meet me outside here, outside of my videos, I'm gonna be a little more shy, actually. Unless I have a lot of my friends around. Then I'm going to be more like I am right now, actually. A little obnoxious, mind you, but completely carefree. And that's because the friends that I do make, because I tend to have a hard time making friends, but the friends I do make, they're not friends, they're family. You know, I can rely on them, really. You know, if I get in trouble, if I have some kind of problem, I can talk to them about it and I don't have to worry about them judging me. That's the kind of friends I have. And I like that. Something she radiates seems to encourage the people around her to trust her more than they naturally would. It makes them like her more and want to take care of her. I believe I have the same thing, but I also have the opposite thing at the same time. Seriously. But whatever. I don't know what kind of power this could be, but it seems to a benign one, fueled by her gentle nature and kind-heartedness. That is well, after all, we'll be spending more time together later. I close my eyes. I'm exhausted. Before I know it, I have fallen into a deep sleep. Falling. 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 I feel like I'm floating in a shapeless void. There is darkness everywhere I look. Am I dreaming? I once heard it said that when a blind person has spent years alone in the dark, they will start to imagine shapes to fill the void and dispel loneliness. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if a person with sight has spent years alone in the darkness, they will, yes, start to imagine shapes to fill the void and spell loneliness. Now, the only way I can understand this is if they have some kind of like sonic hearing, you know. I mean, there's Daredevil for you, and that's actually how he sees. He has sonic echolocation, which, quite frankly, is a really cool superpower. Because I mean, think about everybody else. All the other superheroes in the world. Also, there are some that can emit light themselves. But let's say they couldn't. Like, the flaming torch. Let's say the fire didn't actually show him anything. It didn't get rid of any of the darkness. It just made him on fire. That's it. You know, if you shot someone with fire, they would still be completely dark to him. It's as if everybody else is blind. He's the only one that can navigate without any trouble. Which is really cool, if you ask me. Whatever. I begin to understand that sentiment. The darkness begins to whirl around me, deeper in some places, shallower in others, creating shapes and forms that I'm not sure are actually there. I feel like he's sleeping with his eyes open, because this actually happens if you're when you're in the dark and you can't see. You know how you can sort of see things, but you sort of can't? What actually is happening is your mind sees shapes, and then it tries to decipher them. And whatever it can, it'll connect the shapes with whatever it can. But it doesn't truly know. And, you know, the interesting is, we actually do have a blind spot in our eyesight. The reason why we don't believe so is because our brain actually overlaps the two images. I mean, if we literally took pictures of what we could see through both of our eyes while covering the other eye, we would see that it, one, overlaps, and then two, there is a blind spot. But because our eyes actually naturally move around very tiny amounts without us knowing, it doesn't seem like they're moving, but it's minute amounts. And that helps our brain paste together an image that's in our blind spot. Like if you try to look at your nose, you can't actually see it. It sort of gets fuzzy, but if you look at it through just one eye, you can see it more than you can with both eyes. It's kind of interesting. I detect a sense of aggressiveness. Sorry. Not really too good at reading out loud, mind you. Like something awful is hiding in that darkness. I want to close my eyes or turn away, even though neither action would change my surroundings. However, I can't move my body in this dream. Even my eyelids are beyond my control. I can only look straight into the darkness. Quick little sidetrack here. Speaking of darkness, I'm going to be playing a game called The Darkness 2. Now, I would like to play The Darkness 1, but unfortunately they don't have that for the PC. And I will be doing it later on. It's just that the current recording device I have, my Xbox, is a cheap one. I got it for like $19.95. So yeah, it's pretty cheap. And I would prefer to use that more for like the older consoles. Like I still have my Game Boy. I mean, not my Game Boy, but my GameCube. I do still have my Game Boy though. But that's besides the point. But I do have my GameCube, and there are some games on the GameCube that I would like to play and put up on my Let's Play channel. And I will probably use that device for that system because, you know, it's older and it's you don't need an HD recorder for that system. Whereas the Xbox, you could use it for that system. Deep in shadows intertwine to sketch curves that almost suggest something both familiar and abstract. I can almost recognize what's out there. If only I could see clearly. It's like looking down from a balcony at a couple below. You might see their lips moving, but you can't quite hear their words. Wind blows beside my ear. These are not the mild winds from the woods this morning. The strong winds from atop the roseland, or the kind of gales we felt out on the plains. Something catches my eye. My head is pulling in the direction of what I saw. Suddenly, there is light. I see that the refreshing breeze I just felt is stirred by wings. My heart is filled with joy at the sight of the figure they belong to. The figure has noticed I am watching her. Okay. Her mouth opens as if she wants to say something, but in the end, she just smiles. That melancholy smile penetrates whatever defenses my heart had left. So beautiful. A beauty that should not exist on earth. Enough to portray enough beauty to steal a man's breath away. Her hair, her dress, those wings, the flowers had their own gods. Their perfect beauty personified. Surely this would be the goddess of lilies. Speaking of lilies, did you know that they grow those specifically for stores? Which is really weird, if you ask me. Oh no, wait, that's orchids, my bad. Lilies are a little more common, but whatever. I hear the doorbell ring, waking me from my dream.
大人，你已经起床了吗？
I rail, Your Excellency. Are you up yet? A lady maid's voice comes from outside. I remember Finn telling me that she would wake me up this morning. I look at my pocket watch, realize it is already 8 o'clock. I still have my clothes on from the party. I was so exhausted I fell right asleep last night. Hold on, I'll be right in a moment. What a strange dream. I agree. I shake my head and slap my cheeks a few times. Oops, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. A few times to wake myself further. Today is my first day officially on the job. I can't afford to lose face in front of the princesses. Please select your destination. Diana, Signing, Lara, and Finn. Tea parties, Maynell, and Rosalind. Okay, so considering that this was described as a dating simulator, and there are no other princesses here, which again really annoys me, I'm taking a guess that these 4 people are the only ones I can actually choose. Okay, so I thought by going up there and doing that, as you can see why, the first couple times I did it, I figured that it was me doing that made it go away. I can go up to Diana. The air higher in the sky is always fresher than the air closer to the ground. I step on the last step of the crystal staircase and enter the hanging Rosalind. This is one of the most quiet places in the whole country yard. There happens to be no fencing class today. I plan to spend my morning here. Huh.
魔女的清晨总是来得
Which
很
is
早。
morning always comes early? What?
为什么呀？魔女的话应该会使用
But why? The
很
witch
厉
should
害
be
的
able
魔法
to use powerful magic, shouldn't
那
she?
也没关系的
It
吧？
should not matter if she does not get up early. However, it seems I'm a bit
天
late.
刚蒙蒙亮，就被
Has
抛下依依
to
不舍的
leave
床铺，
behind
挨
the
个叫醒
lovely
各色
bed
布
right
丁，
at
细
dawn
细
to
熬
wake
煮
up
可口的魔汤
the。puddling one by one and cook delicious magic soup.
铁路想知
Shirley
道
wants to know
魔
what
汤
magic
是什
soup
么
tastes
味
like.
道。
I think it's in her imagination. Straight silver hair and valiant blonde. If I could use flowers to describe those two girls in the Rosalind, they would be Jasmine and Daisy.
下次要多加点可可酱。布丁魔女
Need to add
品
more
尝着今
cocoa
天
jam
的甜
next
汤
time.，
这么想
The
着，
pudding witch thinks while tasting today's sweet soup. Diana is holding a thin picture album while sitting on the ground. Shirley rests on her knees, seeming quite interested. Apparently this tiny little princess is not a good audience, but the narrator does not care at all. She just reads her album slowly. Huh? I want to eat some chocolate.
就想吃
Listening
巧
to
克
this.
力了。
Ah, here's the
是
newcomer.
新来的。
Shirley turns herself over, looking at me with her head up. Good morning, my ladies. The wind here is as fresh as usual. She does not look at me straight and moves near Diana.
早安，
Good morning,
Ah,
Mr.
sure.
Rez. The girl with silver hair, on the other hand, smiles gently as we meet for the first time. Did I interrupt you?
并没。
No, you didn't.
打扰到了，
Yes, you did. You better leave
的
soon.
话就快点走。
She's a kid. I smile embarrassedly. Did I do anything that made her unhappy?
雪露，
Shirley. Diana whispers her name.
嗯，
The little princess seems reluctant and glares at me.
知道了啦。
I know. Well, Shirley is not
铁
disturbed.
路
Shirley
没
acts
有被
as
打扰。
if she's very reluctant to have me here and holds her fist tightly. If you dare come near, I will teach you a lesson. I comprehend the meaning of her gesture, and a bitter smile appears on my face again. It seems unlikely, after all, that I'll find peace here today. Huh. Well, playing as myself, I wouldn't sit distantly, but I wouldn't leave anyways. I'd actually sit right next to them. You know, go ahead and listen to the story. You know, showing her that, you know, I don't care what you think you'll do, sort of thing. Sort of showing her who was boss. But considering the two options, I'm just gonna leave. Then I wish my ladies a great day here today. I bow and retreat under the princess's watchful sight before turning around to see the steps. Turn around to step onto this crystal stair I just came from. Diana seems a little disappointed, but considering my staying will ruin Sherry's mood, it's probably better to find another place. I end up the whole morning of solo fencing project, feeling a little lonely. Main hall, main hall, main hall. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, I don't really care about VR. I'm gonna go see Diana again. Achoo! I hear a girl sneeze behind the corner ahead. I think to myself that it's a quite familiar voice as I walk more rapidly towards my destination. It's right after lunchtime. The three princesses do not show up in the dining hall. Celeste, who had a maid send her meal to the library, Lyra, who claimed to enjoy her lunch at her own place, and Ling, whose absence was not pre-announced. Without the two highnesses of silence and irony, a delightful atmosphere was spreading around with Cheryl's validity. Neither the fencing class nor the practice of the miracle play has begun. We have a precious rest time at noon, which I would love to spend leisurely. Even Intella is standing by Shirley with a smile on her face. If it wasn't for Diana leaving the saloon with an excuse, and Shirley going back to her room angrily, I would really have liked to stay a bit longer and get to know the princesses more. Mr. Rez? And now the princess who claimed to have an appointment somewhere elsewhere, just before, stands right in front of me with a pile of books in her arms. Diana, your highness? A book is lying on the ground with the sound of sneezing just now. It's difficult to imagine what has just happened. My guess is the book was dusty and she was trying to read it or something. Or maybe she had it on top of the stack of books, she sneezed, it fell on the ground. Weren't you on your date? A maid could have carried these books for you. I stepped forward to pick the book up and about to give it to her. Please, why don't you get myself? These books belong to Celeste. The girl accents the latter part of the sentence with her silver hair swinging. A name spoken in such a way must surely have some significance for Diana. Okay, Celeste. That is the name of the 7th princess. Big sister, probably? She lives mainly in the library and is known as Master of Magic in this garden. I still recall that Archmaid Finn mentioned once that it is Celeste who maintains the operation of the Hanging Garden. Then, is this a magic book? That's actually kind of interesting. If these are books that need to be treated with special knowledge and care, then no maids are qualified. Yes, because there are always troubles to look. I can't help but glance at the cover of the book. No, this could not be, but the title looks familiar to me. That is the book that I borrowed, as Mr. Rel read it as well. She takes the book clumsily and places it among the other books in her arms. Yes, I have. How have I not? I saw the sentence that slipped by my mouth. This book, Born for the Sword, though written a long time ago, was the fashion among the young upper class when I was in the army. The author only intended to create an unrealistic hero at first, but he had no idea how A hero would influence the youngsters who are eager to build their fame. Thinking carefully, I have read this book a couple of times. I can even recite some of the paragraphs fluently.
艾尔先生，
Mr. Rez, I snapped back to reality, realizing that a pair of bronze eyes are staring at me right in front of my face. I apologize immediately. Excuse me, Your Highness. I have lost my mind talking with my lady.
没关系，
It doesn't matter. So this
这
book
本书
means
和
something to
艾
you,
尔先
Mr.
生有
Rez?
姻缘吧？
My face is telling you everything. My face, yeah. Her sight moves to the book I handed to her. With her bronze eyes blinking, she looks back at me.
嗯，
Well, she nods her head confidently. Apparently, unlike last night, she seems to be much more optimistic during the day, due to some unknown reason.
要一起去吗？
Would you like to go with me? Sure. I mean, if that's okay. I murmur with confusion.
图书馆，
The library? Yeah, I kind of figured that. She slightly leans her head and speaks with a matter of course.
想听一听艾
I
尔
would
先
like to
生
hear the
和这
connection
本书的姻
between
缘。
Mr. Rez and this book. Seeing as last time she got kind of depressed, I'm gonna go with her. Then obedience is better than politeness? What? Obedience is better than politeness. After all, I'm free this afternoon. Maybe this is a chance to meet the 7th princess who I have never seen.